Hello. I'm gonna be reading from the autobiography of an ex-colored man. Scholars, black scholars, this is how we live. We read, we study, but our books are in disrepair because we don't get the support or don't get enough support. But we study anyway, and I thank you to platforms like this that help me leave stuff behind. Because we'll be gone, I'll be gone, but hopefully my work will live on. Let's go. I hurried on as fast as I could, and had gone some distance before I perceived that Redhead was walking by my side. After a while he said to me, "Let me carry your books." I gave him my strap without being able to answer. When we got to my gate, he said as he handed me my books, "Say, you know my big red agate? I can't shoot with it anymore. I'm going to bring it to school for you tomorrow." I took my books and ran into the house. Agate, I guess it is. Um, as I passed through the hallway, I saw that my mother was busy with one of her customers. I rushed up into my own little room, shut the door, and went quickly to where my looking glass hung on the wall. For an instant, I was afraid to look, but when I did, I looked long and earnestly. I had often heard people say to my mother, "What a pretty boy you have." I was accustomed to hear remarks about my beauty, but now, for the first time, I became conscious of it and recognized it. I noticed the ivory whiteness of my skin, the beauty of my mouth, the size and liquid darkness of my eyes, and how long black lashes that fringed and shaded them produced an effect that was strangely fascinating even to me. I noticed the softness and glossiness of my dark hair that fell in waves over my temples, making my forehead appear whiter than it really was. How long I stood there gazing at my image, I do not know. When I came out and reached the head of the stairs, I heard the lady who had been my mother going out. I ran downstairs and rushed to where my mother was sitting with a piece of work in her hands. I buried my head in her lap and blurted out, "Mother, mother, tell me, am I a nigger?" I could not see her face, but I knew the piece of work dropped to the floor, and I felt her hands on my head. I looked up into her face and repeated, "Tell me, mother, am I a nigger?" There were tears in her eyes, and I could see that she was suffering for me. And then it was that I looked at her critically for the first time. I had thought of her in a childish way only as the most beautiful woman in the world. Now I looked at her searching for defects. I could see that her skin was almost brown, that her hair was not so soft as mine, and that she did differ in some way from the other ladies who came to the house. Yet, even so, I could see that she was very beautiful, more beautiful than any of them. She must have felt that I was examining her, for she hid her face in my hair and said with difficulty, "No, my darling, you are not a nigger." She went on, "You are as good as anybody. If anyone calls you a nigger, don't notice them." But the more she talked, the less was I reassured, and I stopped her by asking, "Well, mother, am I white? Are you white?" She answered, trembling, "No, I'm not white. But your father is one of the great men in the country. The best blood of the South is in you." This suddenly opened up in my heart a fresh chasm of misgiving and fear, and I almost fiercely demanded, "Who is my father? Where is he?" She stroked my hair and said, "I'll tell you about him some day." I sobbed, "I want to know now." She answered, "No, not now." Perhaps it had to be done, but I have never forgiven the woman who did it so cruelly. It may be that she never knew that she gave me a sword thrust that day in school, which was years in healing. And that's what happens to um, uh, people who are mixed race, who are very fair skinned. there's an issue still today. We have a lot more mixed race children coming in, and I don't want them to go through this. So parents need to deal with the issue in the United States. Now, maybe after this revolutionary moment of 2020, that won't matter as much as it did before 2020. But it's not just going to go away on its own. So if we're going to say we're going to deal with this colorism, if everybody's going to deal with it properly, if we're going to build institutions that recognize everyone's humanity, then let's do that. If we don't do that, this issue that I just read is going to continue. And I have family who are mixed race, and I don't want them to grow up like that. So um, hopefully we'll get on it. But let's see. You know me, I do my part, but I don't have faith in other people to necessarily do what they got to do. But we'll see. Until next time, I say thank you for your support, and I say take care of your mind, take care of your body, and be safe.